Hey guys, so we're going to do some examples about theme and we're going to do the Three Little Pigs. So we're going to do this one together where I'm going to break it down for you and I'm going to help you out. So as long as you're watching this video, you should be able to answer the form just fine. But the next one, I'm just going to read the story out loud to you and you have to do it all on your own, okay? So this is the Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, an old mother pig and her happy family fell into misfortune, and so she sent her three little pigs out into the world to make their own way. The first little pig went out into the world. He soon settled down and built himself a little house of straw. Before long, a big, bad wolf came along and he saw the little house of straw. He looked in the window and saw the first little pig inside. The big bad wolf knocked on the door and called, little pig, let me in." The first little pig cried, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," growled the big bad wolf. And he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house down. The big bad wolf found the first little pig, and he gobbled him up. The second little pig went out into the world. He soon settled down and built himself a little house of sticks. Before long, the big bad wolf came along and saw the little house of sticks. He looked in the window and saw the second little pig inside. The big bad wolf knocked on the door and called, little pig, let me in." The second little pig cried, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," growled the big bad wolf, and he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. He found the second little pig and gobbled him up. The third little pig went out into the world. He soon settled down and built himself a little house of bricks. Before long, the big bad wolf came along and saw the little house of bricks. He looked in the window and saw the third little pig inside. The big bad wolf knocked on the door and called, little pig, let me in." The third little pig cried, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," growled the big bad wolf. And he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed again, but he could not blow down the house of bricks. The big bad wolf knew he would have to be clever to catch the third little pig. "Little pig," he called, "I know where to pick up the sweetest turnips. Come out and I'll show you." "No, thank you," said the pig politely. He knew the wolf was trying to trick him. "I don't like turnips." And the big bad wolf went away. The next day, the big bad wolf came back. "Little pig," he called, "I'm going to the fair. Will you come with me?" "No, thank you," said the little pig. "I have no money for the fair." And the big bad wolf went away again. The next day, the big bad wolf came back once more. "Little pig," he called in, "the best apples grow in Farmer Brown's garden. Come out and I'll show you where they are." The pig knew the big bad wolf would never leave him alone. He had a plan. "I'll meet you tomorrow at 5 o'clock," he replied. The next day, the pig ran out of his house at 4 o'clock. He ran to Farmer Brown's garden. He picked a big basket of apples and ran home again. He put a big pot on the fire to heat water for his tea. The big bad wolf came back at 5 o'clock. "Little pig," he called, "are you ready to go to Farmer Brown's garden?" "I've already been and come home again," said the pig. At this, the wolf grew angry. He had tried to trick the pig 3 times, and it had not worked. He wanted to eat the pig. Now, he got a running start and leapt high into the air. He landed on the roof with a loud thump. He jumped down the chimney and splash, landed in a big pot of boiling water. That was the end of the wolf, and the little pig lived happily ever after in his brick house. Okay, so that is the end of the story. So now let's go and we are going to make a list together. So you're going to have to choose from a list, but I'm going to write the list for you. Okay, so remember, just like we did before, we should make a list of topics, right? So I'll do it right here for you. So the three little pigs. Let's make a list of topics. What do you think some of the topics of the Three Little Pigs are? Well, let's see. Don't you think that building a brick house was a lot more difficult and time consuming and expensive than a stick house or a straw house? So I'm going to put, take your time, maybe. Take your time. Quality is important. His brick house was a good quality. You know what? That third little pig, he was very smart, right? What else? He didn't fall for tricks, did he? That kind of goes with smart. What about trust yourself? He knew that the wolf was tricky, right? And then maybe do it right the first time, right? Oops. Okay, so now we're going to say something that you think the author believes about one of our topics. The author believes that you should always do your best work the first time. Right? So that takes a couple. Do it right the first time, being smart and quality, maybe even take your time. Okay, so that takes a lot of those themes and we put it into, or I'm sorry, it takes a lot of those topics and we are going to turn it into our theme. The author believes that you should always do your best work the first time. All right? So remember, then we cross out that, or we could always we can just copy. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to copy and paste. And we're going to do that you should always do. Oops. You should always do your best work the first time. Now, what evidence do we have for that? Well, let's see. The first two pigs did not do their best work and they ended up eaten, right? So you have consequences if you don't do your best work. That's another theme. Okay, so the first two pigs did not do their best work. And then they got eaten. Okay, but the third little pig was safe in his house. And he outsmarted the wolf. Okay, so that is our process for coming up with the theme and not just topics or ideas for our themes. Okay, so you're going to do one by yourself next. Maybe I'll talk through it and you can just do what I say and I just won't write it down for you. And then the third one you have to do all by yourself. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. Good luck.